Hello, can you hear me? Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hello, welcome to Atomic Movie Reviews Film Society. I'm your host, Atomicon Rex. Here we discuss films that have a narrative background in aliens, ghosts, robots, and creatures. So, without further ado, let's just jump into it. So today, I didn't realize, but Black Mirror has released a couple episodes again, season 6. So I just randomly picked one. I think it was like the third or fourth one. It's called Beyond the Sea. This Black Mirror is on Netflix. I don't know if you have Netflix, but that's where I saw this one. I really didn't have, since it's not a movie, it's a TV show. It's only like 55 minutes long. I didn't have any expectations. I just saw an astronaut on the cover, and that's kind of why I clicked on it. And the story seemed pretty interesting. So, I didn't really have any narrative predictions on it. So, the Black Mirror, I don't know if you know anything about Black Mirror, but it's basically the Twilight Zone meets technology. So, it's like a negative take on, or a bizarre take on modern technology. So, it gives me the feeling of dread of things to come. That would be like my best narrative prediction. What genre is it? I would put it in cyber. This one is definitely cyber. Cinematography, it's colored. It's a regular live action TV show. Original work, I think it's all stories by the producer. I forget his name. I should have wrote it down, but I forget his name. But all of the shows are written by him. Okay. Yeah, it's an anthology. So each episode, it's different. It's kind of like, what's that? American Horror Story, The Twilight Zone, Outer Limits. And so it's not like X-Files, where there's like an overarching story. Each episode is completely different and separate from the previous one. Set design. Okay. This one was pretty interesting. This one was a mixture of CGI and practical effects. The location was like a retro futuristic place. So it's set in like the 1960s, but a high-tech 1960s basically. And the two astronauts, I don't know if they're just too far from home to return, but they basically have they're on a mission, and they have these puppets, these avatars that they could use to interact with their family as if they're not gone. So when they like go to sleep, they just jack into their avatars and play family. And then after they're done playing family, they wake up and go back to their mission. So TV tropes. What TV tropes or plot conventions did I notice in the film? This one is batteries not included. This is when the supernatural interacts with technology. So in this case, I'm putting supernatural as the human beings, and they're using their robotic avatars to interact with their family as if they're still actually there. Characters. Okay, let's go to the characters. So I don't really remember their name. I'm just going to refer to Astronaut 1, Astronaut 2, wife of astronaut. They're like basically the only people in the story. It's pretty self-contained. So you have the hero, Astronaut 1, who's married and has a farm life and everything. Well, they're both married. Okay. But Astronaut 2 has his family, wife and everything killed by the villains of the story, this Luddite Manson cult. So basically what Luddites are they're opposed to certain types of technology. Okay, so like they're like back in like the 1800s when Europe was going through its Renaissance, its Industrial Revolution. The Luddites will go around like they were opposed to using new technology because they felt that they were putting craftsmen out of work. So they would go around and like raid, protest, and like break these new windmills and everything like that. It was a weird thing until it was crushed by the government. But that's basically what a Luddite cult is. So in this show, these people, they're like a Marilyn Manson type of cult. There's this leader. He looks like Marilyn Manson, and he's followed by these female companions that are clearly on drugs. They're all high off drugs. Okay, and they ended up killing his family and making him watch as he's jacked into his like robot avatar. So they captured his robot and make him watch, and his family die. It's like weird shit, right? So that's what the villains do. Well, anyways, he's stuck in outer space, right, with this other guy. All right, and his family dies and everything, but he's an astronaut, so it's all on the news and everything. It's like a big deal, right? So he just basically self-isolates throughout the movie. Throughout the rest of the show. So some things happen, and he starts using his friend's avatar. Basically, falls in love with his friend's wife and tries to seduce her and take over the family. And that's basically where the plot goes. I don't want to spoil too much, but that's where we end up going. Okay, so the damsel in distress is the astronaut's wife. She's the target of both astronauts. And the only reason why she's the target of astronaut 2 is because his family was murdered. And so he's going through, the process of grief and whatnot. But he ends up falling in love with her once he ends up catching feelings for her too. So anyway, so the mode of transportation I would put as their avatar robotic vehicles. Like that's basically what they jacked into. That's what they uploaded into and walked around and used as a vehicle. As support. It wasn't really, they were in a spaceship, but it wasn't a spaceship movie. Like that was just a location in a space pod. Okay, so location. It was retro futuristic. It had like an atom punk motif. So it was based in the 1960s, but with high technology. There was only really 2 places. It was the space station, which was like 2 rooms, and then like the homestead was like an actual house with like a backyard and stuff like that. So pretty self-contained, like I said, but graphics were pretty good. Acting, did the actors seem believable? Yeah. When they were both grieving, I thought it was noticeable. Like I was convinced that both people were grieving. Number 9, what is the cultural impact of the movie? Did it break any new ground? I would say it's really, when it comes to Black Mirror, it's really about the social commentary. And there's a lot to unpack here, so I'll just kind of touch on them a little bit. So the social commentary was basically around how hurt people hurt people. And there's really no excuse for it besides the hurt. And, when a person is hurt or victimized, they're either going to want to hurt that person if they can or someone else. And so the cycle continues. Another point is, what are the social consequences of isolation? coupled with grave family tragedy, what that does to a person. Like his mission should have been aborted, and he should have been sent back home. But you may be too far. You may be halfway to Mars right now, or it's like a real important mission that there is no going back. Could have been one of those situations. But anyways, his family dying and him not being able to do anything about it, and him being trapped in a spaceship, put everybody on that spaceship's life in danger, basically, because the tragedy he had to live through. Anyways, okay, so point number 3, thou shalt not covet. This would have never took place if he would have just accepted his loss and not coveted the wife and belongings of another, especially his neighbor, the person he lives right next door to, which he ends up destroying that man's life for no reason other than he was jealous of what he had and what he himself had lost. So it's just one of those things. It's a tragedy. That was tragic. And the notion of revenge, the only way that guy can wait for that astronaut to return home and kick a chair to him, like, take a seat, let's talk about it. The only way that's possible is if they're related. And even then, I'm gonna, I would kill this person first and then grieve the loss of my wife and children. But he's dying first, or I'm gonna die trying to kill him. So, I saw a lot of energy towards this this show on the YouTube. I didn't read any of the comments or reviews, but there is a lot of energy on this show, this particular one, and I think it has a lot to do with the ending. So I don't know. I think it's worth a watch. It's a casual viewing. Is it a must see? No. It's a casual viewing. If you want something to chew on and think about, it's a Black Mirror episode, so Netflix and chill. All right, Atomic Rex out. Talk to you later.